76, 76.
Hello and welcome along to episode 11 of the Tennis Asia podcast. And as it is an Olympic special, scarcely 6 weeks after the French Open came to its conclusion, we're back at Roland Garros for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games tennis. The draw has been made, and joining me to dissect the repercussions for all those from our part of the world, it is Mr. Tennis Asia himself, Eddie McGee. Eddie, how are you?
Good. I mean, it's been a long time since our last one, eh? It's been about a month, right? Because we didn't do it until last time was before Wimbledon.
Pre-Wimbledon,
right?
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I think
did you enjoy Wimbledon?
Think
that's what I thought.
It wasn't as exciting as it could have been, maybe, but I mean, I don't think as well some of the there were some withdrawals, and then there was some seeds going out at early and stuff like that. So could have been better, but I mean, then obviously the final on the men's side was maybe a little bit disappointing in terms of being a bit one-sided, and then but the women's was pretty interesting. I thought the women's the semi-final with Paolini that was very good. I mean, that was actually the longest semi-final, so at Wimbledon on the women's side. So yeah, and then the final was good, and yeah, she almost managed to pull it back, Paolini, but ended up being Krejcikova who won in the end. So yeah, it was a good tournament
both of those will be back in Paris. I don't know where you stand really on Olympics and tennis. Some love it, some hate it. For some, it's just another tennis tournament, just with no ranking points or prize money on the line. There've been quite a few withdrawals. What do you generally make of tennis in the Olympics?
Well, I have watched it for the last several tournaments. Yeah, I mean, I do think obviously it's a little bit strange because I think really the Olympics is at its best when you're watching those sports which are competing in the Olympics is actually the pinnacle of that sport,
right?
And that's obviously not quite the case in tennis. Having said that, it does give you a different sort of feel here, and it's a bit of a shame, of course. Yeah, we have some players that they withdraw and because they think, well, I'm probably not going to have a chance of winning, and they don't, because they don't get the ranking points, they decide, okay, I'm going to go play in Washington. That's the ATP and the WTA tournament that's on the same week as the Olympics. But most of the top players are playing, right? I think most of the top 10 players are playing. Right. And obviously they're competing for their country. So it does have a different feel to it, and I actually quite like it. And especially, I would say, it's probably, if you're talking about like mixed doubles, I would say this is like perhaps the most interesting mixed doubles tournament there is, because
probably the most prestigious mixed doubles tournament that there is.
Yeah, because they really are competing for their countries. They're whereas let's say back at Wimbledon, I mean, mixed doubles is kind of like just an extra sideshow. People do it almost for a laugh, right?
Hit and giggle, yes.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like that here, and yeah, for the doubles here, yeah, of course it's not as big as a slam, but as I say, like when it comes down to it, these guys and the women in the singles, they're going to be competing hard, and when it comes down to those gold medal match or the bronze medal matches, they are usually very competitive, and the atmosphere should be good.
Certainly, 2012 final Federer Murray was one of the more memorable matches of the last couple of decades, definitely. Asia has won, I think, I had a brief check, I think Asia's won just one gold medal in Olympic tennis, certainly in the Open era. I'm not sure what happened like in the interwar eras. I know Japan had a few good tennis players 100 years ago or whatever. I think there's only been one gold medal in the Open era. Any idea?
Oh, you put me on the spot here. Who's the gold medalist?
Yeah.
I don't.
The gold medalists were Athens 2004 women's doubles Li Ting and Sun Chan. There have been a number of minor medals since then.
I did actually know that, but I mean, I don't really remember it at the time, but I do remember seeing that fact. Okay, that's good. Well, yeah, and in terms of gold medals, yeah, I can't. Obviously, I mean, we've had Kei Nishikori. He won the bronze medal in Rio, and he beat Rafael Nadal to do that. So that was actually a huge moment for him. And yeah, he will be competing this time as well, maybe in with a lot less expectation. But
I think he's in all three draws, isn't he? He's in the men's doubles, the singles, and in the mixed as well.
yeah, yeah, that's going to be. I mean, there'll be a few players that are doing that. That's obviously quite
Right.
difficult if you actually do progress in all three. I mean, that's quite a possibility, but probably not for Kei Nishikori. Should we maybe start off looking at the men's draw then?
Yeah, why not? Nishikori has not. That's quite an interesting match. Draper in the first round.
Yeah, obviously Draper has been having a pretty good year. He's more or less at the peak of his his career at the moment. I mean, he's probably going to go further up, right? And you expect that he's going to go to new heights, but it's on clay, which is where Draper is less adept. Obviously, with Kei Nishikori these days, it's the physical issues that are the biggest question mark, and because of that, he's not actually been able to play as much. In terms of preparation here, I mean, well, it was actually last time he played was at Wimbledon, right? So it's not exactly ideal preparation, and he went out in that, didn't he? It was in the first round. That was 5 sets, but he was up.
Right.
Yeah, he was up 2 sets to 1. Of course, if it was in 3 sets, he would have won it, right? But then he lost the last 2 sets. So, I mean, of course, this is all best of 3. There was one time when the men's final was best of 5. But of course, it being best of 3, it does maybe open up for a little bit more for some upsets. Obviously, we tend to see that less in the big slams when it's best of 5, when the better players, even if they go down a set or 2, they have more of a chance to come back. Yeah,
as they should. We want the best players winning the slams,
but here, if we're going to look at actually maybe the first Asian player to we can look at is I'm not going to talk about Nishikori yet, but Benjamin Hassan, who got in with the it was at universality. Like what do you say? Spot, yeah. So yeah, he actually.
I was going to ask you to briefly explain the qualification procedure for both the singles and the doubles, but I thought that would be a touch unfair, to be quite honest. I think you need a PhD to figure it out, but
yeah, it is very complicated because. Yeah, and then it's as well as the rankings. There's a lot of players that get in, obviously from withdrawals, but then there's various other spots, ways to get in, and among them was this universality spot, which they basically just give the spot to. I think they probably say, well, see who's the highest ranking, but they're trying to give it, I guess, to try and sort of spread it out to different regions of the world. So they've given that to Benjamin Hassan, who represents Lebanon. Of course, it's not going to be. I don't know if there's any other players from that sort of region of the world, so maybe makes sense to if they're going to give it to someone, they give it to him. But he actually represents Germany at ATP. Well, normally it's a German flag. He's a German citizen as well. On the ATP level, he'll have a German flag next to his name. But when it comes to Davis Cup, and obviously now the Olympics, he competes for Lebanon. So yeah, so Benjamin Hassan though, he's mostly a a challenger level player, right?
Right.
And he can play on clay pretty well. He's currently ranked about 150 in the world, but he's got not a bad opening draw because he gets to play Chris Eubanks, who we
Eubanks.
know big serving, aggressively minded player, but he's not so got the game that's so naturally good on clay because he tends to
Right.
be one that wants to finish. He's not going to rally for a long time, and obviously he gets a lot with his serve, which is going to be less effective on the clay. So Hassan actually maybe has a chance to get through that one, but of course every game after that will probably be a bonus more or less for him because you
Right.
having to play either Thiago Montero or Sebastian Baez is the 12th seed in the next round. Obviously, so that's Baez is a very excellent player in general, but and he can compete very well on this surface. So, yeah. And then you've got potentially in the third round Stefanos Tsitsipas. So,
Sisyphus, yeah.
I mean, it must be strange. I guess it's just nice for some of these guys just to be able to play,
Right.
for their country and just have that moment. And I'm sure it's pretty a nice experience just to sort of be there in the Olympic Village and be part of the ceremony and all that. And then moving on though onto section 2, which is the one where Nishikori will come on to him, but we've also got Zhang Zhizhen. Of course, we know
Right.
Triple Z, Zhang, top ranked Chinese player, highest ranked Chinese man ever. He's now near 30 in the world. Obviously, he's in a great point of his career. He actually got in because he, not via ranking, although he would have qualified with his ranking, but he got in because he was the winner of the Asian Games. So the winner of the Asian Games singles got in with a spot. And unfortunately for him, though, he's got a pretty tough draw because he has to play Thomas Makac,
Mashak.
who, by the way, is his regular doubles partner, right? And so that's pretty surprising that he has to play him. They played once before in a challenger a couple of years ago, 2022, in Poland, and he got to that was, I think he was up a set, and Makac came in 1-3, but that was played on hard court. This will be the first meeting on clay, so
Right.
It will be an interesting match. It's definitely a tough one for your opening round in terms of obviously neither of them are seeded, but there's a tough opening one, and that's maybe a sort of 50-50 in terms of who comes through that one. If Zhang can get through, though, then he'll have to play probably Zverev, who is the third seed. It's either going to be him or Munar. I mean, we expect Zverev to get through that one.
Did he play him at Roland Garros a few weeks ago?
It was in not Roland Garros, just in Hamburg, right? So just before this, I think. So Zhang, had a fairly decent preparation.
That's right. It was Tsitsipas who beat him at Roland Garros.
That's right. Yes, so he lost his Tsitsipas, I think, in the third round. That was a pretty one-sided match. He did well though in Hamburg because he came through those first two matches in straight sets, and he was really good. I mean, he was hitting exceptionally well on his ground strokes. Just everything was coming off. When he was coming into the net, he was, playing very well at the net. His volleys, his touch, and just hitting beautifully. But then obviously Zverev as well is a player that he's got an amazing serve and he is exceptional from the back of the court. So it's it's a step up in level. And although Zhang, he's had the upsets, he had victories against top 10 players. He couldn't do it. I think it was straight sets right to Zverev. I can't remember the exact score, but it was fairly close. But it was just, I think it gets very difficult. I mean, even on clay, if you get broken by Zverev, it's hard to break him. So he'll be hoping to maybe have a little bit more luck for him this time. If he does get through that, Zhang, in the third round, the potential seed that he plays is Nicolas Jarry, so also tough. I mean, he was the Rome finalist this year. who lost his Zverev. So I mean, it's tough little section that, and then of course if we move down, yeah, we've got Nishikori. We talked about he plays Draper, and yeah, Draper having a great year. So Nishikori, though, at least I would say, in terms of how they naturally feel on surfaces, I would say Nishikori would be more comfortable
Right.
in terms of, obviously he can great. He's comfortable on this surface. He can rally extremely well. It's just a question of, Draper's generally been playing at a higher level. There's no doubt about that. So it's not unwinnable, but it's not the easiest first round for him. And then if he does get through, actually, there's another player from an Asian nation, Bublik, who could play in the second round, but Bublik has to play
Who's got
Taylor
a big
Fritz.
Fritz. Right.
And based on how they have done on this surface, I would more, and in general, this year, I would fancy Fritz to get through that one.
Right.
So it's definitely it's a tough, potentially very tough section for Nishikori if he does get through, because the other seed in that little bit there, the 11th seed is Lorenzo Musetti, who's obviously just had a great run to the semi-finals at Wimbledon, but also is probably even better on clay, right? So yeah, not
Right.
easy. Although of course you never know. Sometimes these things open up, and Monfils is who Musetti's playing. Obviously, that's a French player. He's going to have the crowd on his side. You never know. That could be an upset, but we'll see.
Moving down to the next section, Taro Daniel of Japan. He's also got a very tough opening round.
Yeah, Casper Ruud. I mean, really, Casper will be. Let's be honest. He's going to be looking to win this tournament. This is a great opportunity for him to actually get. No, I mean, I'd say he'd have a good chance to get a gold medal, but I'm sure, certainly a bronze or a silver is definitely within his reach. And I suppose, I mean, that is something that obviously, separates this from the other tennis tournaments, in that people actually,
Right.
You don't get any prizes for getting to the semi-finals at other tennis tournaments, but you do get a prize for finishing third. The third place playoff, and I think some players, they're really happy to win those bronze medals when they get them. I think
Right.
Nishikori, when because he beat Nadal to get that one, and then who was it? The last time in Tokyo, the bronze medal winner was Carreño Busta, who beat Djokovic, and I think for him that was, on a personal level, that was one of the biggest wins of his career. So yeah, and I remember Jack Sock saying that for him as well, I think he's got a gold medal. Was it the doubles he won the gold? Jack Sock.
Yeah.
And he talked about how he's saying, I mean, he's even won a Masters 1000 in singles, but he says that the gold medal means a lot more to him, because people know what a gold medal, that Olympic gold medal, means. If you tell a person who's maybe not into tennis, I've won a Masters 1000, they'll be like, what's that? So there is that.
I think
aspect
this is
of
something that is probably ingrained into certain people from when they're very young. It's a question of did they grow up as sports fans, or did they grow up just in the tennis bubble? If you grew up watching the Olympics when you were a kid, obviously you would. If you just grew up doing nothing but tennis, then it's going to be a little bit different. I mean, my formative memories were the showing my age, the Barcelona Olympics, and then, of course, the Atlanta Olympics in 1996. The Atlanta Olympics being the absolute nadir for British sport, one gold medal. Barcelona was a little bit better, but the Olympics were sort of very, very special then. These days, I guess there's so much other sport going on wall to wall. In those days, it was the only thing we used to see on television. So it was something he would sort of grow up with, and of course, yeah, an Olympic medal would, for someone who sort of had that background, would be very, very special.
Yeah, I mean the '96 Atlanta, wasn't it? Yeah, so that was. Do you know who won it that year? The men's singles gold medal.
I know it was Mark Rosset in Barcelona in 1992, but 1996 eludes me.
It was an American.
All right. I don't know. Todd
Agassi.
Martin. It
Andre
was
Agassi.
Agassi. Okay.
Yeah. That was because Agassi's. Yeah, I think it's like Agassi is the one of the few players that's got like they called it the Agassi Slam or whatever because he's won like every category because he's got a gold medal, but he's also won
Right.
all the what was it like? Yeah, he's won every category of tournament. But I guess,
Okay.
yeah,
They call it
right.
the Golden Slam when they've won all 4 slams and the gold medal, but there's the Agassi Slam is winning. What
Yeah.
has he got like a has he got like an ITF 15? I guess he probably has got an ITF 15 or something.
I was going to say, well, you'd maybe expect. Oh no, well, I know they're not going to count. I don't think they count. They just counted the so the ATP. So all like
Right.
each like from what would I don't mean it wasn't called 250, 500 back then. Whatever the equivalents
Sure.
of 250 up to Masters, he's won all of those. But he's also because you think okay, because uh, well, I guess Murray would Murray no because he hasn't won like so what it is the Agassi one he's won all the 4 different slams, right? But he's
Right.
won Masters, he's won Davis Cup, he's won
Oh, Davis
um,
Cup. Okay.
he's won Olympic gold, and then he's won the year end finals. So
Right.
I think that's why he sort of stands on his own and having that because although Nadal he's won everything else, but he didn't win the year end finals. And then Murray he
Right.
did win that, but he's never won the 2 of the slams. So yeah, Agassi's got his own little record there that
The
he
Agassi
could
Slam. Yeah.
um,
Yes.
but moving
We better get
on,
back to the draw. Sumit Nagal.
yeah, Simon
Hard
Nagel.
ask at Roland Garros, but he did. Did he win a challenger in Germany at the end of June? And he's been playing in Kitzbühel this week, a resort far better known for its skiing than its tennis.
Yeah.
He has got Corentin. Oh, by the way, did you see it? Did you see his little altercation with the umpire in Kitzbühel?
Oh, I heard about this, but I didn't actually see properly what happened. Are you going to tell me about that, or?
It wasn't as exciting as I expected. I heard about it, but yeah, he wasn't happy with the court, and he told the umpire, "This court's dreadful." And the umpire just snapped back. I've seen worse, and I'm pretty sure you have as well. And he said, "Probably, but it's still bad." It was just quite a sort of good-natured altercation. He won't have that problem at Roland Garros, hopefully. Although I know this year at the French Open, not everyone was happy with it. But
Yeah.
he's got Corentin Moutet, which again, you say playing a Frenchman in Paris, never going to be easy. If he does come through that, then Dimino, which wouldn't be easy either.
Yeah, Dimino or Struff. Yeah, Struff's been having a pretty good year. He won his first ATP title, and then Dimino, he's less adept at he's less adept on the clay, but he's the 5th seed here for a reason. He's playing at a higher level. So yeah, Nagel, tough one against Moutet. It's not unwinnable though. I mean, that's probably a pretty close, in terms of matchup. I think for Nagel, that might be not too bad for him because I think that for him that he struggles more when you've got players that are really going to overpower him. But he's not the biggest guy himself. But obviously Moutet is not a guy that's going to overpower him. He's more. So he might have a good chance there. But then if he does get through, it could potentially Demonar or Struff. I mean, not easy. Alexander Shevchenko is also in that section, who's representing Kazakhstan, but he has to play Jakub Menshik.
Yeah.
But Menchik is actually still playing a tournament at the moment. So, yeah, he's actually in the semis in Umag in Croatia, and he'll be playing today against Lorenzo Musetti. Of course, Musetti is also in the Olympics, as is Andrei Rublev, who, yeah. But
So how does this work? I mean, aren't all the first round matches on Saturday and Sunday?
I'll just have to look at this. Sorry, just give me a second. I'll just go through the schedule for you if you want. Okay, of course. Sorry, Rublev is not actually playing in the Olympics. I forgot. So, although his countryman Medvedev is, of course they're playing without their flags.
Without the flag,
But So Menchik, obviously, he's come into this at good form because he's in the semis now. And also Musetti's there, but they're probably not. They want to be getting too tired for the Olympics, but hopefully they still actually play. Sorry, I was going to go through the schedule. So the first round of 64 for the men's and the women's singles, it will be on Saturday and Sunday, and then the round of 32 for the men's will be on Monday and Tuesday. The round of 32 for the women seems to be all played on Monday, and then the round of 16 on Tuesday. So, yeah. However, the doubles will begin also this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the round of 32. That's the men's and women's doubles. But then the mixed doubles will begin on Monday and Tuesday, and that's only a 16-team draw. So, and then it comes the final will be played. The men's singles final will be played on Sunday, the 4th of August. The men's doubles final played on the Saturday, as will the women's singles, and the final for the men's. So the final and the bronze medals match for the women's doubles is played on the Sunday as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I should have said as well that the bronze medal match for the men's doubles and the women's singles is played on the Friday, and the mixed doubles bronze medal match and the final also on the Friday. So the Friday, Saturday, and that Sunday, we will have finals finals and bronze medal matches on each of those days. So, yeah, plenty of interesting matches at the tail end of that week for sure. And and if we just go back to that draw, I think we've gone through pretty slowly. So, the other thing is, probably Shevchenko. That's a very tough one, but maybe Menchik could come in tired. So we'll see how he does there. But then he'll have to play possibly Tommy Paul in the second round, and that's going to be very difficult. So, and then further down, you've also got, I think, because... Did he get in because Murray withdrew late? I think that is true. So Hadi Habib has to play against Carlos Alcaraz. He's also...
representing Lebanon. Yeah.
Lebanon. He's an American-born Lebanese tennis player. But so... he's not going to get through that one.
Does that mean... Yeah, we've missed out on Murray Alcaraz as well. But
or it was also... someone else withdrew, because Robin Hasse got in as well. He plays against Seb Offner. But I mean, we should probably move on to the women's draw.
To the women's, the women's. We might as well start with probably the best candidate in the women's draw, Zheng Qinwen, seeded 6, got to the 4th round at Roland Garros. Just won in Palermo as well. I think she's got the late qualifier or the late replacement. Darius Seville in round 1, and a pretty nice route through as well.
I think. Wait, you're talking about Qinwen, right? So, So first of all, I should say that Elena Rybakina, obviously, she would have been one of the favourites to win here. She withdrew, and obviously, because she'd be obviously a threat to any player in the draw, but she was the other seed in Zheng's section, and she has been replaced by Caroline Garcia, who moves into that spot as the 17th seed. Obviously, that's Caroline Garcia is a good player, but she's not the same sort of threat. So that's very good news, I would say, for Zheng. You're saying that she was playing against Darius Saville, did you say?
I'm wrong. She's playing Sarah Irani.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. So Sarah Irani goes in as the alternate. Pretty good opener, you'd have to say. Yeah. And actually, I mean, we weren't too hopeful there with the men in terms of if they've got, but Qinwen here has a great opportunity to go far. If she does we expect her to get through Irani. Yeah, in the second round, it's either Arantxa Rus of Holland or Kalinina of Ukraine, and then the seed in her section is Navarro. So
right.
I don't think this is too bad. And then obviously not having to play Rybakina in the quarterfinals. Having said that, she does have Naomi Osaka in there. Because she would have used. Did she use a protected rank? I thought she would have used a protected ranking. No, I guess she might have got in. Osaka would have got in because she's a previous slam champion. Maybe that's the spot that she got in. But yeah, so Osaka has to play Angelique Kerber, who's going to be playing. I believe this is her last. She's stopping tennis after this.
It's her last tournament, right?
Yeah. Like Andy Murray, yeah, she's going to stop. So, I mean, I would expect Osaka to get through that one if she does get through. And probably Caroline Garcia in the second round. But Garcia, obviously, playing in front of home fans, that would not be an easy match, I think, for Osaka. And then also the other seed, the 16th seed in that section is Leila Fernandez. But she has to play against Mukova at the Czech.
Mukova, who... Yeah. Right, who was she the one who Zheng beat in the final in Palermo?
That's right, yeah, exactly. And a former French Open runner-up, previously in the top 10, but now she's slipped down a bit, but definitely a player that's, if you're Leila Fernandez, you're not going to be too happy, I think, to draw her in the first round, so... But Osaka, I'm not particularly hopeful. I mean, obviously, she had that great match against Swiatek at the French Open in terms of actually being able to get through several matches. I'm not too hopeful about that in terms of her getting a medal, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, things can open up. But I think for Zhang, she is the one looking definitely the favourite to get to that quarterfinal, and if she does get to the quarterfinal, if she does get through that quarterfinal, she will probably have to play Swiatek in the semis. So, that's obviously going to be a completely different step up in level, and I don't think it's. See, the thing with Zheng is like, she's done well to get into the top 10, but I just don't feel that she's shown the level yet to show that she can beat these players quite yet. I mean, she's done okay in some matches, but who knows? Playing here for her country, she might be able to find some extra inspiration. There's another Chinese player in Swiatek's section, that's Wang Jiyu, who plays Novskova, and perhaps has to play Diana Schneider. And then, as far as Wang, I mean, she might be able to get through a round or two, but if she comes up against Swiatek, you're not expecting
third round.
Yeah, but so moving down there, I mean, obviously, I should say actually, for Zhang, if she gets to the semi-finals, even if she loses, she has the chance for the bronze medal. I'm sure she'll be happy at least to be able to compete for that. Then in the the third section in the bottom half, we've got our hero of the podcast, Mayuka Ichijima, who will be playing.
She has Svitolina in the first round. That's interesting.
Yeah. So, and of course, this is
potentially Pegula in the second round.
Of course, it's a return for Uchijima back to her favoured, or well, clearly the where she's had the best success, which is on
Mm.
clay. Svitolina done pretty well. She had in Wimbledon, she got to quarterfinals. Um, Obviously, this is different prospect here, but yeah, she's certainly a player that is capable of doing damage here as well. So tough opener, yeah, for Uchijima, but maybe she can cause an upset. I don't know. She hasn't had the best preparation, Uchijima, I would say. I mean, obviously after she lost, she finally that win streak came to an end
At
at the French
19.
Open. Then she went on to grass, and then obviously that's broke her momentum a little bit. Where she went out in the first round in Wimbledon to Jabeur, and then not ideal preparation because she played the Hungarian Open, but she had to retire after being down 6-1 1-love against Ella Seidel of Germany. So yeah, it's not ideal preparation, but yeah, obviously she has the tools to do well on this surface. I do think, yeah, she can maybe give Svitolina trouble, but obviously then having to play Pegula gets more difficult. And then the other seed in that little section is Barbara Krejcikova. So she's a former French Open champion, obviously just won Wimbledon.
Right.
A lot of tough players. And then, yeah, it's going to be tough for Uchijima. But moving down, we do also have oh, yeah, Wang Jinyu, who's
In that same section, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, just that's right. So she's going to play
So yeah,
Tamara Korpash of Germany. Um, Wang has had a pretty good year, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see if she's able to get some results together. Yeah. So as far as that goes, there's not too many other. I mean, I think that's it, right? Because of in terms of the Asian
there's
players coming.
Yuan Yue who's in the next part down. That is
Oh,
Maria
sorry.
Sakkari's part of the draw. She's got Alexandrova in the
Yeah, yeah,
first
yeah.
round. Putin Savers in that part of the draw as well, who starts up with
Oh, yeah. Of
Kostyuk
course, I totally
of
missed.
Ukraine.
Yeah, Putin Sailor. Yeah, she's got chances. She starts to against Marta Kostyuk, the 12 seed, and then but if she gets through that one, yeah, Burel or Siniakova, yeah, Yuan Yue. I mean, I'm not particularly expecting much from her. She has to play
Yeah.
Alexandrova, and then yeah. Although if either player gets through that, Sakkari hasn't been so good in the big tournaments, so yeah, little chance there maybe to go through. But in terms of actually seriously winning the title, yeah, I mean, I don't. I think the player that really has a great chance is Zheng, but obviously the fact that she has to go through Swiatek, she's probably going to
Swiatek,
want to hope that
yeah.
Swiatek miraculously gets beaten somehow beforehand. Of course, though, that's not completely out of the question because if Ostapenko gets through to the quarterfinals, she will play.
Right.
Uh, yeah, that's the projected to play Swiatek. So Ostapenko has that tremendous 4-0 record against her. So yeah, we'll see. But wouldn't that be
Okay.
something, Ostapenko, to win a gold medal?
Ostapenko gold medalist. It could happen. It could happen. Back to the scene of her greatest triumph, of course. And we should talk about the doubles. As the doubles is, well, as we said, it arguably more prestigious in terms of tennis wise. In the men's doubles, and we've got its sort of reversal of the usual thing. Andy Murray has pulled out of singles in order to play doubles or focus on the doubles. He's partnering up with Dan Evans, and I believe they open, if I'm not wrong, do they open against Nishikori and Terra Daniel?
That's right, yeah. So Taro Daniel and Kei Nishikori, of course, of Japan. Well, that's an interesting one because I, I mean, I don't think either pairing are in particularly hot shape, would you say? Because obviously
Right.
Nishikori, he's had his physical issues. I doubt that him and Daniel have played. I mean, I
Played
much
much.
doubles
Yeah.
together before, and yeah, that's never always. It's never always easy to just to start playing with a new partner. Daniel, he's not had a bad year, but I don't think that um, he's shown anything to show us that he's going to be a real handful. Obviously, Evans and Murray, um, they didn't have a great preparation either. Murray has obviously playing his last time. Having said that, obviously Murray and Evans have played a lot of doubles in their careers, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. I do think that's could be an interesting match. Perhaps I maybe just give Evans and Murray the edge, but I honestly think
Mm-hmm.
it could go either way. So let's say Daniel and Nishikori do get through, then they might have to play either Gilles or Vliegen of Belgium, who are a regular doubles pairing, right?
Pairing.
In on the ATP tour. So yeah, and they'll have to play Arthur Fils or Humber. So yeah, Hugo Humber, like that's difficult. I mean, obviously it's hard to play. You don't want to be necessarily playing against the French players. That's a pairing you'd say on paper actually could be pretty good, wouldn't you? So Arthur Fils and
Yeah.
Humber, but it doesn't always work like that, obviously, because these doubles pairings that are played a lot together, and they certainly have the Belgian pairing. So, yeah, they could make it tough. Another interesting pairing there. It's not an Asian pairing, but is Ogier Aliassime and Milos Raonic.
Raonic. Yeah.
Certainly, they're going to be powerful serves on the serve, right? I mean, yeah,
And they've got Taylor Fritz and Tommy Paul in the first round, which also is
yeah,
it's quite a fascinating matchup.
Canada against USA, and I suppose this is the sort of it does make these tournaments a little bit more intriguing, doesn't it? Than when you actually because it's just that different from what we would see in the slams, say, where everything's mixed up and they're just doing it for themselves. This is obviously for something just for the pride of competing for your nation. Another interesting pairing there, obviously the Tsitsipas brothers. And further up the draw, we have the Lebanese pairing, Habib and Hassan, but they've got a really tough opener against Ebden and Piers, who are, of course,
who know their doubles.
Major winners. Yeah. So, yeah, just a lot of tough pairing. I mean, you've got Carreño Busta playing Carreño Busta and Granollers against Bolelli and Vavasori. They're the number one seeds, but of course, Granollers has been a top doubles player. Carreño Busta, he's actually, he's had his physical struggles recently, so maybe he's not in ideal shape. Nonetheless, there's always potentials for upsets. And then, of course, moving on to the bottom half, one of probably the most excitement is about Alcaraz and Nadal, who are playing together. But they've drawn it the sixth seeds, Gonzalez and Andres Molteni. So, yeah, it's intriguing. But having said that, I mean, when you're not seeded, it could have been worse for them. So I don't think Gonzalez and Molteni are particularly happy about facing Alcaraz and Nadal. I mean, we know that it's a depleted Nadal, but certainly, his racket skills and his abilities at the net is arguably, I would say, probably the best of any of the big three, let's say. And then, he's had a lot of doubles experience and done well. And that's not something that's, obviously compared to singles where he's obviously it's more physically demanding. But for the doubles, he's got maybe still got the top skills to do well here. And obviously Alcaraz, how good is his touch and his ability in general. So The other Asian pairing in this bottom half, another one is Bublik and Nedovyesov. Oh, okay, that's the Kazakhstan pairing. They will have to play the
They
Australians,
have the
Alex de
Brazilians in the
Minaur.
first round.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. The Brazilians, yeah, Montero and
Timonor
Seba.
second up. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, so yeah, but I mean that's a sort
Uh,
of yeah. I don't know which way that's going to go, to be honest. But Bublik, of course, with his big serve and his serve and ability at the net, he might be able to help them get over the line there. What were you going to say there?
and moving down into right into the bottom section of the draw is, of course, the Indian pairing, Rohan Bopanna, and also playing with Balaji. Also got a
Balaji, yeah.
French pair first up.
Yeah, interesting choice because obviously we know Bopanna's amazing, but he's chosen Balaji to be his partner. I was interesting in to know what the logic behind it is, obviously, because he could have chosen other. I mean, we talked about Yuki Bambri a lot, and he's obviously doing well in his doubles career. He's up near the top 50. But perhaps Bopanna's thinking that he's got a good chance with Balaji. He maybe knows him well and his style well. So that's who they've got. But they will open against Roger Vasselin and Fabien Rebul. I think it's also not the toughest draw that they could have had. So I think maybe they have a good chance to get through that one. If they do get through, then they've got to play Medvedev or Safin or Kravitz and Putz. So they're Kravitz and Putz they play together on the ATP Tour, the top pairing. So yeah, it becomes a bit more unpredictable now when we move into these doubles, and then that's a great pairing as well. And we get the Chilean pair, Nicholas Jarry and Tabilo had a lot of success recently, and yeah, it's in terms of if I was going to pick any of the Asian pairings to actually win it. I mean, I guess you'd have to lean towards Bopanna and his pairing there, wouldn't you? But again, it's not an easy section at all.
Olympic gold medal, instant hero. Moving on to the women's, there's a lot of Asian pairings in the women's doubles. We've got two Taiwanese teams playing. Yeah. We've also got two Chinese teams playing. Any thoughts on the best hopes in the women's doubles?
Well, obviously, we've got Shea Su Wei there. Yeah, playing with Xiao. Obviously, Shea herself, I mean, she's had a tremendous year in the doubles. I mean, she's won the Australian Open, and yeah, they did well in the other slams, but obviously she's now playing with a different partner. So yeah, it's not. Yeah, she got to semis in Wimbledon, and it's going to be difficult to play. Because she's going to have to play against Camelia Begu and then Nicolescu of Romania.
Right.
And if they do get through, then it's possibly Kostyuk and Yastremska. I think it's not. Yeah, obviously Shea Sue, she's an amazing doubles player, but I just feel having to play with Xiao alongside Xiao, it's quite a bit of a weaker pairing because of that. And then if you look at the number one seeds there, you've got Coco Gauff and Jessica Pegula, and that's a pretty nice pairing there. And they've got to play Perez and Savo, and either if they do get through that, it's possibly Mukova or Noskova for Gauff and Pegula. But yeah, I think it's going to be difficult for Shea Sue, but she is how do you say? She's a bit of a genius herself on the court, so we'll see how it'd be interesting to see how she does. Maybe she can get through a few rounds and see what happens. Of course, the draws will inevitably open up. Rarely do they actually just
Right.
stay according to the seedings or whatever. Yeah, Yuan Yue and Zhang Shui. Of course, Zhang Shui, yeah, regular doubles player and has had a good amount of success as a doubles player. Um, not done well
So
though, particularly on at French Open. Although she just did get to the semi-finals last year at Wimbledon and then final previously. But yeah, I just
again,
think
difficult.
difficult, yeah, because she had to open against Haddad Maya and Stefani.
Had Myra and Stefani. Yeah.
But like,
But yeah, as you said, difficult to predict because of the non-regular pairings and the seedings, which are not random. There's method into them, but not necessarily as meaningful as in singles or in a regular doubles tournament.
yeah, and then in terms of other Asian parents, yeah, we've got Wang Jinyu who plays a lot of doubles, and she's had a lot of success as well. She won the French Open in a doubles pairing that was back in last year, but that was all
Right.
alongside Shea Su Wei. Of course, they're not. She's not going to be competing with her this time. So yeah. So, but that having said that, I mean, she's playing with Zheng Sai, who is also a great doubles player and has had a lot of success. So um, certainly, I think that's not a bad pairing, and they could do something here. Uh, they open against another unseeded pair in Kashenok. Yeah. So I
The Ukrainian pair. Yeah.
yeah Ukrainian yeah Kashenok sisters, but
Yeah.
also we've got moving down. We've got the regular one of the pairings that I do actually or have played together regularly before, which is Aoyama and Shibahara. We've talked about them before. They had a lot of success last year until they sort of split up this year, but Shibahara was focusing more on singles, but they're back together. They had a lot of success. That's actually, if you talk about pairings that could do well, they are definitely one that you would expect to have a good chance. And Chan and Letitia Chan um, for Taiwan, yeah, they've got a spot in the draw as well. Of course, Letitia Chan,
So I've got the second
she
seeds.
yeah, so she has played before. She used to play with Martina Hingis several years ago, but yeah, so yeah, she's got a lot of experience, and then yeah, she's playing with Chan Hao Ching. Yeah, not had the much, let's say, like the success in sort of the big tournaments recently, but yeah, they've also got a really tough opener against Krejcikova and Siniakova. So yeah, but in terms of who would probably have the ability to do the most damage in terms of like the Asian parents, yeah, perhaps Shisui and
Right.
Xiao, but then I think yeah, Aoyama and Shibahara being the experience they've had together, some more recent success, and the Shibahara's doing pretty well recently. Perhaps they're the ones to watch out for. Although Wang Jinyu and Zheng Zhizhen also have maybe perhaps a little opportunity because I don't think their section is the strongest. And then finally, we've got to move on to, which we haven't talked about yet, is the mixed doubles, right?
The mixed only 16 pairings in the mixed doubles. So you've got to win what 3 matches to get a medal.
Four,
Um,
4 matches. 4 matches.
four matches if you want a gold medal. Yeah. But
Yeah, you still have to play 4 matches
yeah,
to win a bronze medal as well. But
you have to play 4 matches to win a bronze medal, but you only
yeah,
have to win 3 of them.
yeah,
But
yeah.
Shibahara, of course, is in the mixed as well. She's pairing up with Nishikori.
Yeah, it's hard to say how it's going to go, but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Shibahara's done well recently, but like, Garcia and Roger Vasillan, yeah, it's not always easy to open against a local pairing. Siniakov and Tomasz Machacz. I mean, Machacz has played a lot of doubles. That's actually a difficult one in that section. And then you've got Laura Siegemund and Zverev. Tough little section. And then, but if you look further down, I think the golden Asian pairing clearly here is Zheng Qinwen and Zhang Zhizhen, right? Yeah, Triple Z and Qinwen. Yeah, they're playing, though, opening against Donovekic and Pavic. So Pavic, they very, he's a regular doubles player, one of the top players in the world. Having said that, you would imagine that they could do well, Zheng and Zhang, right? I mean, the power and their recent form, it's coming together at the right time. Depends whether they can actually play well together, but I would imagine, Zhang, he has played a lot of doubles recently, so that bodes well. Sort of the other interesting, sort of pairings which they normally play singles together, singles only. I would say, like, you've got some interesting ones like Mira Andreeva and Medvedev.
Yeah,
it's very interesting. And then obviously Sakari and Tsitsipas, and then Coco Gauff and Taylor Fritz, the third seed. So that's you'd fancy them to have a good run, wouldn't you? So, but surely
it's quite fascinating. I'd like to see 32 pairs in this tournament.
I mean, why not?
Get rid of the singles and have 64 in all three doubles.
Yeah, I think just because of the fact that not only are they great players with Zheng and Zhang, but also Zhang's got the double experience, and then also it's on clay where they both seem to play their best tennis. You would hope it'll be interesting to see them get to the medals matches, let's say. And then I think that pretty much rounds us up. I think Zhang is the one that really has the most chance out of the Asian players, perhaps, to get two medals. If we were going to pick anyone that's going to be able to have a chance to get two medals, there's just, in terms of other guys, it's probably just too much standing in their way in the singles. But yeah, for Zhang, she does actually have a good opportunity to do something. And but maybe we can also move on to some of the other things that we haven't covered.
Tennis never stops. So briefly, we must mention a couple of others, a couple of regulars that we talk about on this podcast. And so tennis never stops. It's going on over in the United States right now in Atlanta. Jerry Shang has been on top form, come through qualifiers and picked up another big win. And he's got he's got another big match coming up. He's into the quarterfinals in Atlanta. He'll play Purcell later on.
Yep. So great week for Jerry Shang, or Shang Juncheng to use his real name. And yeah, he had to come through qualies, and he beat Liam Brody.
Liam Brody in qualifiers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he came from a set down.
Wasn't the day that Brody was upset that there was no.
I think that
was only bagels or something in there. It was it. Yeah, he got into a little bit of a stoush with Andy Murray on that one.
Yeah, that was on Twitter. So yeah, Brody was he was not happy with the breakfast options, and Andy Murray pointed out that, well, you should have checked this beforehand as a professional athlete. But to be fair, Brody that morning after the loss, he said, I can't blame the lack of breakfast for losing that one. He said he can't blame that. Jerry was too good. So yeah, because Brody was up a set, and then Shang came back 6-1, 6-3 in the next two sets. But Shang, after that, he came through, two Americans came through JJ Wolf in straight sets, and then Martin, that's Andres Martin. So, and then he played another American, the number one seed, Ben Shelton, and came through also in straight sets, 7-6, 6-4. And that's the third time that Shang has actually beat Shelton. So Shelton's sort of becoming
Shelton, yeah.
his pigeon, as some people would say. That, but so I mean, that's quite amazing. But obviously, well, Shang's also another lefty. I don't know if that's any reason why Shelton maybe finds some difficulty. Uh, Perhaps because Shelton always likes to go out wide on that. Perhaps when he's going into the juice side, it goes difficult to go out wide for a lot of players. But for Shang, it would go into his forehand side, maybe less awkward for him. But
Right.
I mean, those serves that he hits so fast out wide. But then also Shang has the ability to rally very well, and perhaps that's the difference, is that he's actually able to create break opportunities that, and once you get on that second serve, you will perhaps have chances even against Shelton. So yeah, anyway, great for him to get through to the quarterfinal. I think it's only the third time he's been in an ATP quarterfinal. I think he has been in an ATP semi. Well, he definitely has been in an ATP semi-final, because he did that this year in Hong Kong right at the start of the year. But I would expect him to get through Purcell. I think he's playing at a good level right now, Shang, and he should be good enough to get through that one. I should also mention that Nishioka is in the quarterfinal. He
Right.
actually has to play Francis Tiafoe, perhaps a tougher matchup for him. But he did well because he came through against Schweida, and then he beat Mackie McDonald in straight sets. So Nishioka, yeah, he always does well. He tends to do well on these hard courts. So we'll see. I'm not maybe less expecting him to get a result. But also in North America right now, there's a challenger going on in Chicago.
Chicago, yeah. Bu Yunchaokete, he's been in fine form of late as well.
Yeah, he's in the quarters there. He just came through against Michael Zhang and then Paul Jubb in straight sets. But this is also after last week winning the title in Granby in Canada. He came through, and he was been the previous week he'd been in the semis in Winnipeg, also in Canada. So he got the title this time. He came through a tough match against Terence Atman of France, right? And
Right.
yeah, so this was another challenger title for Bu. I think it's his second this year, if I'm not mistaken. And he's now up to a career high of 147 in the
He's in,
rankings.
so
But
into the
now,
top 150 for the first time.
yeah, but also he will be a bit higher now that he's in the quarters here at Chicago. Yeah, he's got a great opportunity to
And
get
he
through.
plays a guy he absolutely hammered in the semi-finals in Granby last week, Grenier.
That's right. Yeah, Granny. Yeah, he beat him 6-1, 6-2. Yeah, I didn't see a whole lot of the tournament last week. The time difference is horrible for us, obviously, but I did see a
Yes.
bit of the final that he played, and yeah, I mean, Boo is just a very exceptionally good athlete, and you can just see that he's just slowly getting better. He's got a good serve. He's slowly getting better in sort of the rest of his game in terms of his strokes. He's maybe lacking a little bit in weapons, but he's such a good athlete, and you can see that he's doing so well at the moment. I was thinking perhaps maybe this is his chance to get into the majors, because he's come into form at a good time. Perhaps he can qualify for the US Open. He should be. Well, he definitely will be in the qualies. So that's something perhaps to look out for. And then also, I should say that Hong Sung Chan is in the quarterfinals.
Right.
In that tournament in Chicago, he came through against Alex Bolt and then Charles Broom of Great Britain. So he has to play, though, in the quarterfinals, a young, very talented American up-and-coming player called Lerner Tien, who is, from California, but he's only 18 years of age, but he's actually been winning a lot of matches at the professional level recently. He just won a challenger, and then he just won an ITF event. So yeah, that's a very tough one for him. But he's also, I should say, that Tien is the Australian Open Junior champion. So he won that last year. So always difficult out there. A lot of talent coming through on the Challenger Tour, even when you think you're doing
relentless.
well.
Yes.
Also in that one in the other quarterfinal as well as Jake Fernley, who actually was the guy who took a set off Djokovic in Wimbledon. So yeah, difficult out there. And finally, maybe we should make a mention for a girl.
The women's side.
Yeah.
The Filipino up-and-coming star, Alex Eala, she has another title to her name in Spain last week.
Yeah, the 19-year-old Alex Eala, she won without dropping a set all week. Yeah, she won the title, 100 title in Spain. That's by far her biggest title to date in her young career. She won, that was a ITF 100. The previous largest title she won was only a 25, although she'd been in the final of a 60k and a 40. But yeah, to win the 100, obviously she beat a decent player as well, another youngster, Jimenez Casinseva from Andorra. So yeah, I think she was very delighted. I think there was some tears shed after she won that. And I should also say that she also won the doubles as well. So amazing week for her. And then after that final, I mean, it's in Spain, similar to what they do, I think, is in Barcelona when they, which is where Nadal would usually win, but they'd run into the pool afterwards and jump into the pool afterwards. So she actually did that with all the ball kids just for this small little tournament here. But yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, she obviously deserved anyway. She had a great week, and yeah, she is also similarly to Bu up into the top 150, near the top 140. Unfortunately for her, she played the 125 in Warsaw the week just this week.
Earlier this week,
and then she went out in the first round in straight sets to Shinnikova. But it's not something that's that surprising. Obviously, she's played a lot of matches with the singles and doubles, and then going over to Warsaw, it's always not that surprising when you see players losing in the first round, straight after. But still positive for her, and then perhaps she'll be hoping to, also another one that's. She's come close to qualifying for the majors, so maybe she can actually do it this time or at the US Open. I think, she should be pretty comfortable on these hard courts, clearly, so it's a good chance for her.
Okay, I think that just about wraps everything up. It's been quite a long one. One final note on the Olympics. I would say without the Olympic tennis, we probably wouldn't have any WTA or any ATP events happening in Seoul anyway, because there would never have been any motivation to build an Olympic tennis centre. So I think we have to be grateful for that, at least.
That's a great point. I should mention
you have played on that court.
Yeah, you amazingly, believe it or not, you can actually, although these days it's far too fully booked, but members of the public can actually rent the Olympic tennis court, which is where the ATP and WT tournaments and previously the 88 Seoul Olympics was played. You can actually rent that if you want to play a match. And I should actually say ATP tennis or ATP Challenger tennis is coming back to Seoul. It's been confirmed that we'll have the ATP Challenger in October in amongst many other challengers throughout China, Thailand and Taipei as well. So Taiwan. So amazing to finally, because we weren't sure if we're going to get it, but we'll be able to cover it, and perhaps I think we'll probably both turn up there, won't we, in October for the Seoul tournament. So
I think so. The CU had better be fully stocked of Cass that week. But
Cass being a certain alcoholic beverage.
Yeah, a cheap one. But okay, thank you very much for joining me tonight. We'll keep an eye on Atlanta as it progresses, and also Chicago as well. And enjoy the Olympic Games.
Yeah, cheers.
4-6, 7-6.